Yo,
Good
yo, yo.
afternoon there, Dustin. Welcome
Good
aboard.
evening. Thank you, partner.
See a lot of guys over on the YouTube side of things. You guys are making it happen already over there. Appreciate everybody hitting that 25K crappie connection. It kind of goes along with the year, 2025. So perfect hashtag.
Oh,
Didn't even
it
think of
is.
that. It kind of flowed perfectly with the year, didn't it?
Came right to the tip there, tip of your tongue when you were telling it.
That's right. That's right. And we haven't done today's bite in a whole year. It's been none in 2025 so far. First one of the year.
Wow. I didn't even think of that either, man. You're on a roll.
I'm trying to open your eyes up, Dustin, to a whole new life.
Yeah, I know. I needed to. I tell you what, guys. I hope everybody had a happy new year anyway.
Yeah, we're back on regular schedule. Hopefully, everybody's joined us and got back in the groove of things. Tuesday nights from here out, 7 o'clock. Uh, it's a weekly thing, weekly show brought to you by Bobby Girl and Bates. Cannot thank those guys enough for over there taking care of Dustin and I and to do today's bite. Really
Absolutely.
enjoy everybody. Got a really looking forward to this year. And I think of today's bite and the crappie connection and all the stuff that I'm really blessed to be able to do with you guys. And want to first off tell you guys thank you for joining us. Thank you for hitting these comments. Thanks for
Yeah,
hitting that.
another year.
And the bad thing or good thing is I'm gonna ask you every week to do the same thing. And I think of this year, and I kind of thought of how we're going to kick off the show, and we're going to do kind of a forecast for January and what some other people are
Oh,
seeing, what you've seen. So
I
this is
gotta.
going to be a crappie forecast for January. Cold
I
weather
like it.
in, I think it's just warming because it's not warm outside anyway. So we're going to do
Yeah.
some
I'll tell.
talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'll tell you the forecast. It is cold.
How cold? What's
We,
your weather like over there right now, Dustin?
man, what is it outside? I bet it's 20, low 20s anyway. But last night, I think this morning it was around. It was single digits, dang near close to. It was real, real cold. So we've had
Mhm.
3 or 4 days of just brutal cold weather that you can't hardly even stand being outside. But that's not going to stop the crappie any. Things are
No.
starting to heat up around there. Now they may get a little lethargic, but they're going to be there.
Mhm.
Oh, my Grand Lake folks, I got a little fishing report for you. Let me just tell you.
Oh, I like the way he's shaking his head.
Yes. It's
You've been
coming back
down on
alive.
Green Lake.
I have
You
been down on Grand Lake, and
you
now
have been down.
I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, okay.
Things are headed that way. By February, oh my gosh, them fish will be in so much trouble it won't even be fair.
Well,
Well, we
let's
might as
hear
well
your
just jump into
forecast.
the fish report, huh? Since I'm just
Might as
saying.
well. You're leaving us on there.
Yeah, that's right. So, man, I went catfishing with the family during the holidays and was dragging out. I mean, we kind of drug a little bit everywhere, but we were dragging for blue cat, and I started seeing some things on the screen that I ain't never seen at Grand Lake in that area, and I couldn't help myself. Thankfully, we had a crappie rod on the boat and
Now,
started
what did you
sniping.
see?
Do what?
What did you see? What did you see that?
Well, I was dragging through lots of bait fish, but I we have the trolling motor down to be pulling, and I looked at the live scope just for a little while we're visiting, just kind of laid back fishing, and I kept seeing crappie go by the screen in the middle of the bait fish or on top. So you have this big line of bait fish. You know how it kind of gets in the winter where they really school the bait fish
Yep.
really line up, and they're kind of scattered here and there, but there was a few big balls of bait, and on top or kind of in the middle, they're just cruising through them, and then I seen just a good amount of floating Roman crappie in the dead middle of the lake and
Hmm.
in like 60, 70 foot of water, but 20 to 30 foot down. So it wasn't nothing too crazy. And I said, man, I got to check and see if these are crappie. And it wasn't just a few minutes. I had a few really nice slabs in the boat. And I only fished it for a few minutes, but I can only imagine what a fella could do there. And the fishing's picking up. They weren't really aggressive. You had to really land it right in front of them. But once you got them to follow
Yeah.
it, you're going to catch them like they were going to eat it. But getting them to follow it is no easy task 30 foot deep. Like you got to
No.
get it.
No.
It's like they're not moving at all until you get the bait right in front of the nose. Then you're like, okay, it's game over. But we were using an itty bit bone white chartreuse, and that was a really good color. The first part of it, a few of them were really picky, not wanting to react, but the bone white chartreuse, the water was a little muddy, so
I
that
do
made
like
real
that.
that muddy water made it really stand up. So it was good.
I'm
Yeah, so
trying to
Grand Lake is definitely getting starting to get back alive. I could have caught a really nice limit of fish out there, so I'm looking forward to Grand. It's yeah, it really. I
the
mean,
60, 70 foot of water, for us guys in the South, that just sounds crazy deep.
yeah, I know it. I know it. It is crazy, and you gotta take it slow. I've seen Richard. He's like they look like uh, bug-eyed carp when you bring them up, and
Hmm.
definitely if you bring them up real aggressive or jerk them from that deep, they'll really explode. I've learned if you reel them up a little slower, sometimes it takes a little bit better care of them. But if you're keeping them, who really cares? Just reel them up there anyway. They still stay alive even blown up like that. So still fresh, really fresh cold water crappie, some of my favorite fish to eat this time of year. So that's some fun times. You can find a lower wind day because the wind's what hurts in the
Yeah.
wintertime. So if
Yep.
you can find a lower wind day and go out there and the water's not frozen, that's a great time to catch some really good healthy fish. And I'd imagine they'd eat a bigger bait too. Just I like going small in the wintertime, but they were firing a little bit. So I'm curious to see what happens after this cold front and see if they keep that going on. I can't wait to take my boat out there and check on them again because I definitely got some people that would love to go out there on Grand. I just don't want to take nobody if it's not uh, good fishing.
And I think of that, what you said, and how similar what I saw last week. And I fished last Thursday, and it was one of those days that the wind wasn't a factor. And you got to kind of pick these days.
Yes.
January is going to be the same way. And
Yep.
all throughout it is you got to kind of pick these days that you can get out there. And the presentation was very much the key for me. And I'm going to show you the bait and all. And a buddy of mine, Jonah, he's on here usually comment. I'm sure he'll be on here in a second making some comments. But we went out, we went to Eagle Lake, and you know, haven't fished there in a little while. Kind of got a good area, general knowledge of where to fish, and that's is just look for other boats. They're going to be in the same areas, but it's the
Okay.
deeper portion of the lake, and fish are just suspended, and they're out there feeding and gorging themselves on bait fish. The one of the keys for me last week that I thought was um, finding areas that didn't have so much bait on the screen for the simple fact that one, it's harder to see your bait if you're using live sonar, and I'm using a Garmin live scope. And then number two part of it is getting a fish's attention when there's so
Yeah.
much going on around them.
Oh, for
You
sure.
know, it's kind of like you try to get one person's attention sitting in a bleacher full of other
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
I mean, it has so much going on around them. Sometimes I think it's hard for it to get their attention to a bait.
Yeah.
Um, and the next thing for me last week was the presentation of the bait. We tried several different things, and they kind of fooled me at first because I seen a giant fish and I tossed out there actually the head turner, um, and the fish come up and just waylaid it. I don't know if it turns its head for sure, and this big 2.5 pounder come up and inhaled the head turner, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be able to cast to them. And I don't know if it was just those really big fish wanted the head turner last week or what, but majority of the fish wanted a slower presentation, wanted the bait to sit right there on them. And, a lot of guys are, nothing but grays and nothing but natural tones. And the color that I'm going to show you is not really goes in that spectrum when it comes to my mind is bluegill fire. And some of you guys
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
fished with me in the past and think of that color, and it's not really all that much of a shad color. But as we eliminated different colors and profiles, that one just kind of stuck out. And the key for me was dropping the bait down on them and not moving it. Just let it sit there for a second. Now, you had to have it really close to their eyes, really close to their head. But once you see those fish reacting, it was kind of like the Barnett 2 weeks ago. Once they would react and acknowledge it, you could start pulling it up then, and they would come up and get it. Now, like I said, color I really thought was a factor last week when we fished the Eagle Lake, and I tried different ones, and especially if I'm play fishing, and to me when I'm going out, to a buddy and myself, or be me by myself, that's play fishing. I'm getting to try different things and
Yeah.
go off whatever might not work.
Those
So
days are nice. Those days are
they,
always
those
nice. I do have people sometimes. I'm like, man, during this time of year, it gets a lot slower for me, and I love to
mhm.
just go out and play fish where there's not a lot of pressure and you're just looking at new areas and just fishing. That is fun. It's a good time. And that's when you
Yeah,
find
and
crazy stuff. Like I found at Grand. I've
yeah,
never in my life of fishing that lake looked where I looked this area, and I've always wondered where they go. And
mhm.
I just stumbled across a place that I would have never ever looked for crappie
Is it
in
on
my.
the? Can I take some guesses?
Yeah, you can actually take some guesses. I would imagine that. I would imagine there's no way you would guess where I caught these fish. But yeah, go ahead. You can guess because I
Hmm.
would have never ever guessed this.
Was there
Well, I
trout?
would have guessed it, just not where they're at. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't know that landmarks like you do.
Yeah,
Definitely of
yeah.
Grand Lake. Uh, but
But
is
there
it?
was a certain
Uh,
pattern of where they were. Like it wasn't just out in the middle of the lake.
mm,
There
see,
was
I'm,
there
I'm
was I did
I'm
key
gonna
into
dig it out of
something.
you.
Yeah, I did key into something.
Was it on the upper end of the lake?
Upper as in the north, so like the
The
muddy water,
Yeah,
muddier. Yeah, 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 it
yeah.
was. Yeah,
And I think in some of these reservoirs, that those fish kind of migrate when the shad kind of migrates into that warmer section,
yeah,
and usually it's in the rivers that's feeding
yeah,
into these big reservoirs. That kind of
yeah.
pops in my mind what you said. I don't know if I'm right
Yeah.
or wrong, but I
It
mean,
it was they were out in the main channel, like the main river channel,
yeah,
but in the middle of the lake, like it S's through Grand Lake. The channel's crazy. It goes all over Grand. But if you were on in the channel, it wasn't as good. You had to get up on the ledge of like bigger flats, like up
yeah,
on the ledges of really big flats, and it was like the whole flats are scattered with them, which is kind of
mm,
crazy because I've never really looked for them in that area, I guess. But these were 40 to 50 foot flats and the
wow,
fish were just scattered through all of them. And it's just like, and I seen someone on here commented, I don't even have 70 foot of water in my lake. Well, if
yeah,
the water was 10 foot, the pattern still be the same. That's what I try to explain that to people too. Like if it's a river ledge, it's a river ledge. The fish don't realize. I don't think the fish realize the water depth. They go where they're most comfortable, and they're gonna go. I mean, if the water was 100 foot there, they still would be 30 foot deep
yeah,
and roll on that river ledge. So the depth's just every lake's different. Of course, you go to Grenada Lake right now, they may be on or the channel ledge, but it's 2 or 3 foot deep. They just
hmm
it just doesn't matter on the depth side of things, but the pattern is what it is though.
hmm
If you could go to the channel and then just hop up on the ledge of them, and I say up on the ledge like it's shallow, they were still. I'm sure if you go further up the river, it'd be shallower. Same story. Or
right.
if you went towards the dam, it'd be the same story as well. But I was mid lake and right in the smack. I mean, if it was 100 foot of water, I still think you could catch them, which is crazy. Which I have caught them in 107 foot of water at Grand before. I have whacked them in 107 foot of water. It's crazy. They were just balled up roaming around schools in 100 foot of water, but the river channel's the river channel, and they were right in the middle of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I, it would be fun to go check them out in the channel right now.
I know you guys are helping me out. 101 people have helped me out already on tonight's show.
Now
How many likes
102.
we're at right now?
I just liked
Uh,
it.
did a good job.
Yep.
Yeah, I see 102 right now. So,
Yeah.
you guys, you hadn't hit the like button or the thumbs up button, make sure you do that for us and get today's bite rolling even better. But to kind of finish out that fishing report, this is bluegill fire, and I was telling you about that color a minute ago, and this is actually the setup that I thought was really the key for me last week. And I tried some uh, the hummingbird, a solid purple, some different things that were just right about there,
They weren't quite choking it like that one,
but they
were they?
wasn't quite choking it like they did the bluegill fire, and uh, I would definitely
That's a
advise.
bait. Yeah, that's a bait I need to use more often. That's one. That's kind of an unpopular bait around here that I feel like would work more the more it
Yeah,
was used with that
kind of like
tail.
Grenada Gold.
Yeah, that's a fact. I seen a Kerr Lake fishing report, and every time I see Kerr Lake, all I
Yeah,
think about is Grenada Gold now. So
yeah,
you run me there.
yeah. Steve Reynolds talking about Curley. He actually gave us his fish report. Last week caught them roaming in the creek channels, 8 to 14 foot. Water temp was 48 to 50 and muddy. Had to hold it right on them. Big black BG black licorice tipped with a minnow. That's
Oh,
and that's another lake that we even talking about. All of them seem very similar. And we talk about the month of January. I think this pattern that we're talking about, hold it right on these fish,
oh yeah,
let them acknowledge it, and I think that's going to be really. I see the biggest
yeah,
key for January is getting the bait on the fish and letting them recognize it before
yeah.
you make a movement.
And moving it. This is the only time of year that sometimes that you can get a fish to really pound a bait, not moving it. Like
Mm-hmm.
the stiller, you can hold it. Like even though you think you're holding it still, that bait's still moving a little bit. But I will get bites sometimes just completely dead stick, and this is the only time of year I'll do it. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes just not moving that bait at all, or just barely raising it at all, will get more of a bite than if you just start taking it away like we normally do. They just like that bait barely floating there. I guess the bait fish and everything else, if you watch them, they're kind of just floating in place too. They're not really scooting around like they normally do.
Well, yeah, I
Everybody's
don't know if it
cold.
comes back. There's so much bait and there's so much, even using a color like bluegill fire, and you think, well, why did you put down a shad color, a blue ice or a monkey milk, and you're thinking, well, that looks exactly like a bait fish down there to them. They should pick it over this, and I think it's just something different sometimes
Yeah.
that
Uh-huh.
trigger them. And
Man, it's that pink tail, Brad. I'll tell you that right now. It's that.
well, this is probably the only pink bait I'll use is because is
It's
this
because that
truck.
body. You like the body more than anything. Yeah.
I don't really don't care. I'm not prejudiced when it comes to pink now,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
I'm put what it works on the
Yeah.
hook for sure.
Brandon Thomas with the Hudson River area. He said the fish are main river channel in 25 foot of water, roaming in packs down in the water column about 10 foot deep. Some are active and some are not. Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Hudson Lake, it's getting ready to
Dustin
get fired
Field,
up. I'm excited about it.
Jr. He's got New Year's Day at Pickwick was literally fireworks. Got on the water at 4:30 a.m. Good gracious!
Mercy.
Back at home at 7:45 with a limit. A 32nd ounce Mo Glow monkey milk was hitting all cylinders, 17 foot deep. That's a great report on
Hitting on
Pickwick.
all cylinders. I like it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
I would imagine Monkey Milk would be doing really good at Grand right now too. We had yeah, but like I said, that bone white and chartreuse was no joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna challenge you, Dustin. Now, I'm sure you've got some bluegill fire, don't you?
Oh yeah, I do. And that's what I'm saying. I think it would be
I'm gonna
killer right now.
challenge you next
Yeah.
time you're on Grand Lake to put one on and see what
Say
happens.
no more. It's a good looking Grand Lake color, to be honest with you. I like it. I
Uh-huh.
like it. I'm
I,
not yeah,
I bet it would be good at Cur Lake too.
yeah, it would. It would. You know what? Kerr Lake, speaking of Kerr Lake, have you guys whoever just did the Kerr Lake fishing
Yeah.
report, have you guys fished the pits yet? Are they starting to load up with fish? Because that's where me and Brad went, and it was
Mm-hmm.
just unbelievable. So I wonder
Oh my God, yeah.
if they are starting to load up there or not. Because when we go, Brad, wasn't it like beginning end of February? It was still cold. I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, it was cold.
It was cold.
It was cold, but I loved that lake. I really
Yeah, I
did.
know.
I thought that
Yeah.
lake
You know what's
gave
funny
you a
is
lot.
you wanted to try the main lake. You remember that? And you're like, man,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the main lake would hold them fish. Well, they wreck them big ones in the main lake right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I bet you were right.
Yeah. Alan Strickland, he said, "What's up, my Crappie Connection family, North Georgia?" I love that comment. That is a great comment. Eric, good evening. All right. I know you've got the answer to this because I've seen a video with you doing this, Dustin.
Uh-oh. What is it?
You got any tricks for reviving or keeping fish that are caught deep alive? I know you
Yeah,
got the trick.
you are right. I got the trick. And you have to go see the video to believe it because I've told a million people and they don't believe it. But you've got to take the fish when it's just floating there. I'm assuming you're catching them when you throw them back, they're just floating there. They look
Mhm.
like stunned or just dead, but they're not. You just got to grab them. It's something to do with their bladder or you're equalizing something, but you pinch them gills shut and you can just cup their mouth with your hand so you don't have to actually do lip to lip. I forgot to tell a guy this and he was really making out with the fish. So you just cup the gills shut and you cup your mouth around the around its mouth and you blow in it pretty good. Couple times, just pretty good. And
Like
then
a
you throw
balloon.
yeah, like a balloon. And you when you blow back into it, I don't know what it does, but you drop that fish and watch it, it'll dive straight back down where it came from and just start cruising again.
I
I've
think it
watched it
might.
on live scope. It's crazy. It is crazy. I've
I
done it
think
a
you might
ton
have
now.
bad breath.
Do what?
I think you might have had
Oh,
bad breath.
it just wakes them up. That's right.
We're getting down out of here, man.
But yeah. If you blow into the fish, it does something where it shoots them right back down. Now, whether they go back up after that, I've watched some for a while. They'll go right back into the school of fish. I've seen them go back into the brush. So hey, it's better than watching them float off. Anyway, you kind of feel
Yeah,
bad when you throw them back in the lake and they're just sitting there floating like they're dying, and birds come by and just start picking them off, and it
I've
kind of
seen that.
stinks. So I definitely see why Texas does that rule of. I wish we would do that here just for that reason. We lose a lot of fish to people. Just you can't keep anything under 10 inches, so you got to throw them back.
Right.
And I've left a line myself of just floating fish, and it sucks really. So.
Bobby, he's got a fish report from Enid last week. He said the fish were so shallow you could hear the splash when they hit the bait. That is unreal. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's epic. Steve Reynolds said he talked to some friends that fished the strip pits the same day he fished, and they said they caught a couple, but they were spider rigging and didn't have a live scope. So, hey, if
Mm,
they caught a few, then maybe they are in there. They're starting to anyway, I'm sure. Um,
that's awesome.
but yeah, I am giving lessons to CPR the crappie, Jonah. You are right. Things are getting real around here. But I also, an old timer also showed me, not Brad, but a different old timer
Yeah.
showed me. If you just set the crappie down on your boat and let the sun kind of give it a minute to catch itself, it works too. Just drop them in the floor for a little while, let them flop and get back, and then you throw them back, and it works pretty well too. I mean, I've
Really?
tried both. Yeah, I don't know if they go to flopping or the sun heats them up, keeps them. I don't know, but I've grabbed them like he catches them and just throws them in the floor of his boat. Maybe hitting the boat knocks the air out. I don't know what it is, but it works too. Because I've grabbed the floaters and just set them in the boat for a minute and then just grab them, threw them back, and they're good to go. So
Mhm.
just it's kind of silly, but it works.
It's not silly if it works.
Richard Crawford said he hopes I don't get confused when I'm trying to see if they're males.
Yeah.
Blow on the black dot on the butthole. Yeah, I won't do that, Richard. I'll try not to anyway.
Yeah, appreciate everybody coming in and saying hi to everybody. We'd love to see some of you guys, especially if you haven't watched much or commented a lot. We'd love to see where you're from and what's kind of your home lake, and get an idea where everybody's at and fishing at. Maybe we can get you some reports, or maybe you can give us some fish reports. And like I said,
Well, speaking of
Tuesday nights is the night for us.
Torch Tyndall, I know he's got a fishing report.
Oh yeah.
Surely he's got a fishing report.
Well,
Let's
I
hear.
think Torch has been on vacation, so he's been
Oh, gotcha.
busy than
Maybe he ain't. I've been looking forward to his comment. I see him on there.
I've seen some guys also ask about Grizzly Jig. It's at the end of this month. I haven't seen an actual itinerary schedule for his seminars in yet, and I haven't heard from Wade as far as times and different things yet. I don't think they're complete with that yet, so I haven't seen anything yet on that. I will advise. Hey, if you love crappie fishing and you can make it to the show, you won't regret it. It's always a good time up there, and I'm definitely looking forward to coming up there. And on the same note, some of you guys that might have seen the Facebook post that I did, and I actually come across these mugs about 4 months ago. My wife had one given to her from another company, and I said, "Man, those are some really, really nice mugs." So I decided to contact them, and now we have the Crappie Connection mugs. These are handmade custom mugs. They are sharp.
They are sharp.
I haven't figured out a good way to ship them yet, and I know a lot of guys are messaging me about trying to ship them to them and stuff. I don't know because of one, I'm afraid they're going to get broke in the shipping is my biggest fear of shipping them to people. But I am bringing them up to Grizzly Jig Show. So make sure you send me a message. You know, I don't have like thousands of them by no means. I've got probably around 80 left right now at this point. Ordered 96. I mean, they're nice. They're really heavy duty, nice custom mugs. And we'll have them up there for you guys to purchase as well. And they're in 4 colors, and I'll show you. But this is by far my favorite color. And
you like that blue?
I'm a blue guy, but you know we do have a pecan cream one.
Oh, I saw it. I saw the video. Yeah, you do have a pecan cream. That should be your first seller right there. If I come up to the Grizzly Jig, that's the one I'm buying. Is the
you want
pecan cream? Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny. Yeah, man, I just saw someone. Oh, Bobby. He said he enjoys. He usually fizzes them with a needle, but enjoyed all the tips. Yeah, decompressing was the word I'm looking for. But I think when you throw them into the floor of your boat, when they hit, they decompress the air out of them too. So that's the trick on when you're dropping them in the boat.
Mike, he's asking about opinions on a new trolling motor, and I know what Dustin's using because actually we use the same trolling motor.
I didn't know you.
But he's looking of the Garmin Force. I've been running the Garmin Force, I guess, about 4 years now. I absolutely love it. I know Minn Kotas have great motors as well, and I think you'd be pretty happy with either one of them. And I think all of them have pros and cons to say. So maybe possibly get on somebody's boat that has a Garmin and has the Ultrex or what have you from Minn Kota. But both of those motors are top notch in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say a Garmin trolling motor is my favorite just because of what I've put mine through, and knock on wood, it has withstand some crazy beatings. So I have to take my hats off to Garmin trolling motor for staying alive. It is almost hard to tell it's a Garmin by the time I've beat it up so bad. I mean, it is tough. But the only thing I've went through on Garmin's is the foot pedal. But that was when they first were a big deal. I went through a few of those, and now I've been stuck on one. So for like the last 2 or 3 years. But I've had the same Garmin trolling motor for 4 going on 5 or 5 years, whatever it's been, and it's really fishing them hard. Especially, I mean, Brad, he runs the heck out of them pulling and long lining and all kind. I mean, we put lots and lots of hours on the Garmin trolling motor. So that's a guaranteed proven system is a Garmin trolling motor. But like he said, there's several other options that are just as good, I'm sure. I have seen a lot of things with the other ones though, like the cables and a lot of just little stuff that break a lot and people have to switch. It's not hard to switch them, but it's just sometimes I can't. It's just a real nuisance when you have to fish every day and you breaking things and having to switch them or fix bushings and all kinds of stuff. So.
Clay, if you want the recipe, I know I've had a lot of guys email me, but it's easier if I can send you the email with the crappie dip recipe. All you got to do is crappieconnection@gmail.com, and I'll try to get it back to you, the actual recipe, and that way you can try it out. And that's Kent Driscoll's smoked crappie dip, and it is delicious. I've seen some other guys already try it.
Man, Steven Sullivan said he's had all 3, but the power pole move is by far the best he's had. Well, that is one trolling motor I have not had anything. I haven't had anything to do with. So that's kind of cool to hear. So the power pole move, Steven, is it just the head turns, or does the whole trolling motor turn? Is it easy to keep up with your transducer when you're sniping fish? I'm sure it is because I'm sure he snipes fish, but I'm just wondering if it was easier. I like that head to still spin for me to kind of just keep an eye on it or see where my clients are kind of missing. And I still use my head sometimes on the trolling motor to see kind of where I'm at and what I'm doing. So it just would kill me like the Lowrance. I don't know if you've seen them, Brad, but it's just the arrow that spins. And it was just hard for me to keep up with the Ghost Lowrance.
Larry's got a great point. He's on YouTube. He said, smash the like button. We got 75 likes and 151 people watching. That's between the 2 platforms. It's about 240 people watching right now total. So yeah, definitely we're at 180 total. So I know you guys, some more people can do it. We need your help.
Richard Crawford said he's had a Garmin since they came out, had issues about 2 months ago, and called them, and they sent a brand new motor, no charge. So customer service goes a long ways too, for sure. I've also got my foot pedals for no charge as well, so they've taken good care of me too. Mike Price, I would try greasing that foot pedal up. Mine would squeak too sometimes, but get in there and grease that sucker up or spray something in it. That would drive me plumb nuts. I dip her in the water every once in a while.
Well,
No, don't do that.
I've got I did a video and I had several people comment on YouTube about how that foot pedal would drive them crazy, and so I was like, all right, let me do something about it. And Real Magic, you use it on your line.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Actually, if you look at the Garmin, it has a little metal cylinder down there underneath the foot pedal. You can spray it with
Real Magic.
Real Magic, and it lubes it right up, makes it smooth as butter, and
There
it'll
we
knock
go.
you out the squeak.
There you go. Don't spray too much though. It'd be too loose on you.
Shane, he said he's dropped them from their side, crappie that is, a couple feet,
Yeah.
and knock them back, going back down.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. That's what toss them in the boat. Same thing. That's what I've seen work anyway, and I've watched them on the light scope to make sure they go back down. It does work. Dean, I don't know if it's by you or Dean. It's Dean though for sure. He said he's almost got a 3-pounder last week. She was 282 on St. John's River. He sent me a picture of that, and Dean, congratulations. That was a hammer and probably one of the prettiest fish I've ever seen. So we were just talking about going out there and catching the 3-pounder. You about had to really rub it in our face, didn't you, buddy?
Yeah, it's been on our bucket list.
Yes, for sure. Brad will take me out there one day.
Yeah, I will.
If he can get the 25K crappie connection, maybe we can go at it.
That's exactly right. We did get we got 200 likes. See how quickly people help.
There we go.
That's
what I'm talking about.
Anthony Richardson, he said from High Rock, let's see, fished 8 foot of water Saturday, water temps 42, found a 198 and a 185. Man,
that's some good fishing there. Dustin Shields says, deer season's over for me. All the turkeys are eating all my corn, ready to fire the boat back up. Dustin, keep feeding them turkeys just in case I can make it down for turkey season. Don't give up on corn and them. They need some loving too in this cold weather. Man, old Dustin. Man, I'm getting ate up, Dustin. I don't know if you've tried that thermal hunting for coyotes, but that is another addicting money spending thing that really I didn't need in this life, but here we are, and y'all pray for me. That's a fun and addicting game to play there.
Dustin Shields, I did see a new record crappie caught at Lake Lamar Bruce in Mississippi, a 312 black nose crappie. You talking about another beautiful fish?
Ooh-wee. Man, 312 black nose.
312.
Is that close to you, that lake?
It ain't that far. I didn't know it was that kind of fish.
I like that answer. That means it's worth going to check, maybe.
Well, you know what? That shows that fish there was stocked by the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, a black nose. They breed those black nose so they can track when they're caught into those fisheries. Gotcha. So that was a stocked crappie that come out of that lake. New lake record. You know, we did have a few people name some of these coffee mugs jig colors. I think it was awesome. Like the pecan cream.
The one you held up was blue ice to me.
Yeah. I think that's actually was the name given for it, was blue ice. But
was it really? That's funny.
Yeah, we'll have to come up maybe with a bluegill fire next month. You know, if it keeps on ticking. Yeah. Might get some
Anthony Richardson said we had a local guy here in North Carolina catch a 4.07 on High Rock. Well, I think we might know that local guy. That might be Kevin. We've had him on the show actually before, I believe.
Absolutely.
And maybe him. He caught a 4-pounder here not too long ago. So I was wondering what lake he was fishing. He got him exposed there, didn't we?
Yeah. I got Steve. He's got a good question. He's asking. He's about how many people use a Sea Light 2.0 transducer pole for forward-facing sonar, and what your likes or dislikes. Steve, hopefully we can get some guys will comment on there as well. I haven't used a pole for my transducer. I strictly run it off the shaft of the trolling motor, but maybe we get some guys that can comment and help you out with that. But also, I'd advise looking at Cordfield Fishing Gear. They have some awesome mounts as well for your guys that want to use a pole.
I had someone ask me too, Brad. What was the mount, the 0 degree mount that you recommended? Where do they go get it?
Well, Cornfield just come out with one exactly for a zero mount. I haven't got that one on my boat yet. I was hoping to pick that up at the Grizzly Jig show here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't have theirs yet. I know they come out with another new one here recently.
All right.
So I would take a look at those.
I was trying to look them up, and there's so many different ones to choose from. I don't want to pick the wrong one.
Yeah, Tony, he's running old tricks, and I hear a lot of the guys chiming in on the different trolling modes that they use, and you know, there's so many good ones out there. It kind of just fits what your needs are. And one of the reasons that I did like the Force for myself is whenever I'm fishing two people in the front of the boat, I can actually take my foot pedal and fish behind them and still use the foot pedal. In reality, you could sit in the back of the boat and still run it. So it gives me a lot of options on running my trolling motor all over the boat. That's one of the things that sold me personally for the Garmin was that fact.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Mike Price says, since then Kevin caught a 303. I tell you what, we need to get Kevin. I said we need to get Kevin on here. I need to message him again and see if we can not get him on here and tell us the stories of how the 4-pounder went down.
Yeah,
we got to hear the story. That has to be such an adrenaline rush pulling a 4-pound black crappie up, or hybrid, whichever one it was.
Steve, no, this shirt is actually made by. Let me see if I can get lined up here. Crappie Forever, guys that we do some stuff with. Great organization that's looking out for the future of crappie fishing. Check those out. They got a lot of different gear, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. I'm a t-shirt guy. I wear t-shirts religiously, I believe. But check out some gear if you're into crappie fishing at crappieforever.com. Also, they have some of our apparel on there, from hoodies and such as well. But Crappie Forever is a great place to get you some crappie fishing shirts. But no, it's not a Chiefs. Nothing against the Chiefs, but it's not a Chiefs shirt. Kevin Jones. Oh, come on in here, Kevin. Said, let's see, let me get it on the screen good here. Fishing is great on Stockton here in Missouri. Fish are schooled up using a bobby girl and 2-inch baby shed Blue Thunder. Now, describe that color.
Oh, come on. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I got it. I may just have it in the stack. I may just have it.
What's crazy is my desk here. I don't have all the bobby garlands here in front of me, but I got quite a few different ones that a lot of times that people can ask about a color, I can sit here and grab them and show you.
What's funny though is the last few times everybody's asked for a color, it's the only one I don't have in my whole bag here. Like I don't have your bluegill fire here, which should be against the wall. Yeah, I know. But I was in the middle of a question. I think Alan asked us if we were long pulling, and this time of year in wintertime, I'm going to be long pulling 90% of the time because the fish are so lethargic. You got to get on top of them and really work on each individual fish where I'm fishing at. So I'm definitely long pulling. I bet Brad's somewhat the same.
I'm long pulling 90% of the times. You know, you will get these stretch of nice days that are really a night to bite, and it's great to long line during that time, and where a faster technique can come into play. But usually it takes a couple of days of steady temperatures and the bite of kind of a night, and long line can turn on, you know, in January as well.
Yeah.
Wade, he asked what days plan on attending the Grizzly Jig show. I am planning on being there Friday, Saturday, and half a Sunday. And maybe we need to start some kind of petition. Dustin's on the fence right now whether he's going or not. I don't know why.
Oh, don't put me on the spot like that,
So we're
Brad.
gonna put you on the spot since you asked me not to. That we need to see Dustin at the show.
Yeah, we do. Oh no.
Me and he might even could do a seminar together or something.
Ooh, now we're talking, ain't we?
That'd
I
be
don't know if I
interesting.
could get up there with you. I just don't know. I would feel out of place standing by such an old legend.
Yeah, the old part.
I'm good across the screen, but I don't know. Oh, look at him drinking the coffee out of the new mug there. Ooh wee.
It's not
Hey,
coffee.
I was gonna say, don't let him lie. That's got to be whiskey for sure.
No, no.
I'm just teasing. Dustin, you are right. Dustin, are you going to Grizzly Jig? That's the real question. Dustin Shields, are you going, buddy? You said I got hugs to give away, which I do. I gave a lot of hugs last year. I came home with like the swine flu. I gave so many people a hug. Just teasing. Robbie Webb, he said I went to B Lake on Thursday, caught 22 1 to 2 pound crappie, 11 1 pound crappie, and 10 that was around 11 inches. Now that is some specified measurements there. But someone said Stockton Lake. That's pretty close to me, Brad. Whoever gave that Stockton Lake fishing report. So it's good to hear that they're doing all right. It usually starts firing up this time of year as well. Yeah, I think Pam will.
Jonas was wanting to see the Grenada Gold Crappie Connection coffee mug, but it's gonna be one of these things. I can't show you guys all at
That
once of
would
the
be
different
cool.
colors of the Crappie Connection mugs on today's bike. Now, you can see them on the Facebook post, but next week I'll drink out of a different color mug to show you guys.
Oh, there we go. He's going to switch colors all the way to Grizzly Jig. Until he
Yeah,
gets a Grizzly Jig, he's going to do a different color each time.
yeah.
Hey, Pamela's right. She says you should give me a mug to go.
Mike can handle that, Dustin.
That's a good point. Steve Reynolds, come on, Dustin. I'm going to give you an Oklahoma bear hug at the show. Come on, Steve. Take it easy on me, buddy.
Yeah. Or we're gonna get everybody on
I'm gonna try. I hate to tell y'all I'll go and not go. I'm a man of my word, so I hate to give you my word, but I'm gonna try. So
we're
for
gonna
sure.
try. We're gonna keep pressuring him every
Yeah.
week.
Oh yeah. Torch Tyndall says I'm too tall to get in the Grizzly Jig door. That is number one thing last year at Grizzly Jig was funniest to me is I bet, and Brad, you've seen it a few times, but I bet 90% of the people I ran into from this show could not believe how tall I
I
was, and
know.
it was funny. I guess I just looked like a little midget on the
Yeah.
computer because I'm not real huge, but yeah, everybody was just like, "What in the world? You're way taller in
How
person."
tall are you actually, Dustin?
Without shoes, 6'3". So I'm sure if I wore boots or something, I do look somewhat tall. But I
Well,
mean,
6'3"
everybody was real amazed with how tall I was, and it was probably really my weight that I'm putting on. I probably look skinnier on camera. I try to turn my good angles, but but definitely threw some people off. So I'm warning you guys this year. I'm a little over 6 foot, so don't get too scared when I walk up. But I give a good hug. And maybe that's what threw people off. They were ready to give me a hug, and then when they see
Yeah.
me, they're like, "Oh, I don't know."
Yeah, that guy looks crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That guy
Dave
looks
Jones
crazy,
said I would even give you a hug if you can. And now I'll
man.
consider that, Shane. Now I might be pushing it.
That's what I'm talking about.
I might
Steven
be
Sullivan says Stockton would be good for a duck hunt crappie fish combo. Steven, you are right. You just gave a little tidbit secret right there. That is a good duck hunting hole for sure. There's a lot of lakes in that area that really do good, especially when it gets this cold and stuff starts freezing up.
Yeah, I think a real foot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is a good one too. Dustin Shields says we should have a crappie connection subscriber tournament. Now that would be epic. We're on to something there. That would be fun.
Ooh.
A big old friendly tournament. I think I've been thinking from our today's bite followers, we should have a big shindig get together. That would be fun. Something just everybody could get together, have a big cookout, maybe stay a couple days on a lake. That would be pretty dang fun.
I like it. I
We
like
might
it.
just have to line something up
That
for
may be something new
2025. You
for
never know.
2025. Yeah, I kind of like
We
that.
might have to just do so. I kind of like that idea too.
I kind of like that.
But once I met everybody in person, they may not like me as much.
Yeah, they
That
might
won't be
stop
no good.
watching it.
I know it.
I got you. Larry Jones, he says, you guys have any advice on boat control when running the transducer on the trolling motor shaft? I can do okay with it in light winds, but I have to go to spot lock and a transducer pole when the wind gets up. Well, Larry, first off, I'll tell you, I did a video back in the fall where I go through exactly how I kind of set up on fish with live scope, and it really wasn't that windy to say, I guess, that day. But and we'll talk about it here as well. But go back and look at that video for sure. But you know, practice, practice, practice.
For sure.
In my mind, and I tell everybody when they get on the boat and they say, "Hey, I want to learn, how to live scope better." First thing is going to be learn boat control, and that'll come into play. But I think of going out and even spending your first 10, 15 minutes before you're really wanting to go fishing hard and heavy. Because if I get on the water, I'm going to drop some lures down on them, some Bobby Garlands on them. But find you something that's sticking up above the water, and it could be a bridge piling or a piece of standing timber, and get into the wind and go on the days that you're talking about. But try to keep that object, no matter what it is, and I want you to be able to visually see it above the water, but keep it on your screen and don't go too close to it and don't go far. Say, all right, I'm going to keep it between 10 and 20 foot at all times, no matter way the wind's being pushing me or anything else. But learn to just take the time and practice keeping that object on the screen, and you'll get better with it. What you got, Dustin?
About exactly what you just said. I always try to picture the one tip I would say too is picture the water not being there, and you can see, like, it's hard to explain, but pick a target and picture the water not there. So when your boat's moving and stuff, you still know where the target is and you're following it. Another little tidbit, and then find something in the water. I love pole timber to start out because that pole timber will stick up out of the water just a little bit, and you can use that as a reference of your target and follow it with the boat and really mess around with it to get your boat control down. I definitely would say start out.
Even on the same lines is I control and I move my settings around a lot on my foot pedal, and I'm talking about the lowest settings to a high setting, and that's something that you talk about something in the boat that changes throughout the day and changes every day is the settings on my foot pedal. I adjust it up and down all the time, and that kind of depends on the wind. If the wind picks up a lot and I need to keep that boat from being pushed as far back, I'm gonna crank it up. I like to run my settings as low as possible, so you don't blow too far up on the object. But play with your settings on your foot pedal a lot and adjust it. Don't be afraid to adjust that dial up and down. I don't think you could sit there and run a trolling motor, at least I can't, successfully if it's on high all the time. Same way if it's low all the time. So learn to adjust your settings a lot.
Yep, that's a good point. I even keep my remote on for that too, just to adjusting my speed and power if you don't want to crank on your foot and move the pedal and stuff. So that is a good tidbit as well. Hey, I'm telling you, we're gonna have to host something up, Brad. I think this would be a pretty good kick. Someone do like a big crawfish boil or a shrimp boil. Don't mind me being in it just for the food, but still.
Roger Mayfield, I see your comment. How short? I'm not that short, Roger. I mean, how tall a boy are you there? I'm 5'11". I mean, I'm not that short.
Man, I'm wondering. So Richard Crawford, you got to remind me if you were there when a client came in telling you about this, but he said Dustin bets guys on his trip that they can do it or that they can't do it, and that's how he makes his money. And I got a feeling he was with me one time. This is a good story. I had a dentist on my boat, and he was saying, like, I was sniping single fish, and we were doing well, but he's like, but really, how hard is it? Like when you're running it and all that. And I said, I bet you, and just because he was like, the fishing's on fire, this and that, and I'm like, you got to realize, yeah, he said this was the story. But I was trying to explain to the group on the boat. There was 4 guys on the boat. I was trying to explain, I'm making it look easier than it is. That nobody's going to catch a limit of fish out here in this cove with roaming fish. You could all get in your separate boat, and you ain't going to catch more than 3 fish all day. We caught
Yeah.
60 that day. And he said, "Oh, come on. Like, how hard could it actually be?" And I said, "You pick a time frame, and I'll bet you. I believe it may have been $100. They always pitching in the pot, but I bet you $100 that you can't catch one fish in 30 minutes of trying. You won't catch a single fish. Now, keep in mind we caught 60 in like 2 or 3 hours, and
Yeah.
there's fish all over. I said, I'll let you take control of everything. This is how the brakes work. This is how the trolling will work." And they all pitched in. Deal. That's a deal. And we started the timer, and they doubled it to an hour, and he never caught one crappie.
And I
But
had to feel bad.
after the first 30 minutes, I'm like, it was just wasting time at that point. I wasn't being mean or anything, but I'm just like, then they really gained respect. But it was a great story. We're really good buddies, me and the
Mhm.
dentist. He's been out with me several times.
Yeah, sounds
But
like it.
but yeah, Richard, he heard the story when they came in, and yeah, I just sometimes, as well as I do, Brad, sometimes people get in there and think, man, this ain't that
Right.
hard. Like, it's nice, but you're on them and the fish bite, this and that.
Yeah.
But nobody realizes how much time you actually put into running the boat, kicking the brakes on, dropping it on this fish, already looking for the next
Yeah.
fish. Like, so much goes into it, and controlling the boat is way more work than some people think. You got to really put some serious time in to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
efficient at.
Yeah.
And
Practice.
the only reason I knew that bet would work is because I started out. I remember I
Yeah.
couldn't catch my first limit of crappie for
Yeah.
probably 2 months of trying to snipe fish. Like, it
Oh
was
yeah.
a whole process. I remember going
Oh
out
yeah.
with live scope the first time, and that's all. I'm not saying, oh, I was good off the bat or anything like that, because my first time out there, I don't know if I came home with a crappie. Like, I spent hours and hours trying to learn all that. So I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy task. But I remember that, Richard. That was a fun day there for sure. And 2 of the guys actually tried it, so it was even better. It really made me look good after they didn't get one in the boat. I'm
Steven
not.
Sullivan, he's got a tip there as far as the practice goes. He said you need to run the trolling motor enough that you know where the head is pointed, and he's talking about the direction it is facing
Yeah.
just by the feel of your foot control angle.
Hmm.
And exactly, I agree.
Yeah. And even I catch myself still checking the head though, of
Oh
looking at it. I mean, it's tough to be that, but yeah, being a one system is real nice. Being in tune with your trolling motor. But yeah, I mean, it's just a time thing. That's why guides are so handy. Like, a lot of
yeah,
people just don't have the time to learn all the boat control and everything, but you can still go out and really enjoy a fishing trip nowadays with live scope.
yeah. Stephen King is asking, where are you doing the show from? Um, I guess you're talking about the Grizzly Jig show, and if you're not familiar with it, it's probably I won't say the super center for crappie fishermen. They have every kind of crappie bait and pole and line and you name it, crappie fishing. They have it in their store, and it's located at Crothersville, Missouri, and grizzlyjig.com. You can look it up as well. But at the end of the month, and I want to say it's like, let me see where my phone is. I'll give you the exact dates. But it's at in this month. A lot of guys from across the country, guides and tournament fishermen, and just people in the crappie fishing world will be there. And there's seminars all through the day about crappie fishing, and also a bunch of sales. It's just hanging out with different people that loves the sport of crappie fishing. Pretty much will be there, including Dustin. I know Charles Henderson. He can promise you a hug.
You slid that in there. Dustin Schultz said, "Where should we meet at the show, Dustin?" You know what? I'm trying to think where we should meet.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's a good question. I might be back there by either Huckabee Rods, or I'll be in. We'll just drag you in with us, Dustin. You'll be on a dang Crappie Connection podcast, is what you'll be doing. Me and Brad just go to grabbing people. He'll send me on a task to find somebody, and then
Yeah,
he'll come. Then he has to come find me because I got sidetracked by everything
yeah,
else.
yeah,
He
yeah.
finally ended up stopping sending me.
I was like, just sit there a second.
Yeah,
Okay.
just sit right there. Don't move.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
be there, like I said, filming a lot of podcasts. I haven't got my hit list as far as what I want
Yeah.
to cover
We're
this year,
adding
but I
Dustin
will
on
have.
this.
I will have one.
Oh yeah.
Brandon, he's got question. He said, any tips on hook set with live scope, watching the screen and determination on when to set the hook is killing me.
Yeah,
Kind
that's
of
a good
depends
one.
on the depth of water. Um, and without seeing your hook set, can be kind of tricky. But I see a lot of people on hook sets. The first thing they do is, and it's more of a training thing, a mindset thing. Is they
Wait
want to
till you.
kind of load up on it,
Oh yeah, yeah,
dropping it and then loading it. To me, the proper hook set is just straight up without any kind of reaction, no kind of downforce at all. It's all about bringing it straight up.
and you can
Um,
even come straight up slow with the long rod. You have so
yeah,
much leverage that you don't realize how hard you're really pounding that hook and just raising your rod normal. It is crazy. I'd also ask what your setup is. Do you have a big weight above your jig or not? Because if you have a big weight above your jig starting out, you're not feeling that bite enough. And if you really ain't reading the live scope good or you're not feeling anything, it's hard
ooh,
to tell when to set the hook. So if you switch that big weight with a little split shot, you'll feel that thump a lot more. And when you can feel the thump, of course, we all know when to yank when you feel the thump. So that might help. Try to let that bait thump. Uh,
um, and two is maybe going to a smaller size bait sometimes can be the key, and the size of your jig heads. And
yeah,
I think about even last week, some of the things that we to fine tune the bite was I felt like the fish were spitting them fairly quick. So I downsized the hook and the body and went to the itty bit slab hunter. And just like I showed you this setup right here, these are the overbite jig heads, and that's a 1/32 ounce. So a smaller jig head, smaller bait, and it seems those fish hold them and suck them in a little bit further.
yeah.
And dialing them in even on the color, keep experimenting with that color and see if you can get them to hold on to them a little longer by selecting them the right one baits to
Yeah.
say. But we got some Jeffrey. I want to get to you real quick, buddy. Anybody know how to make the turning motor quieter on a Minn Kota power drive? I do not have that answer for you, Jeffrey. That and I know the trolling motor, the power drive. You know, I don't know if you can make it a lot quieter. That's a good motor for spider rigging and different things like that. But when you get to that real finesse thing, the power drive is probably going to be a little tough to do, just to be honest with you. Wade actually has offered. He said, Dustin, if Dustin attends the Grizzly Jig Show, he'll
Uh-oh.
buy dinner Saturday night at Boyette's on Reelfoot.
How far is that away?
30 minutes.
Is that a good dinner place?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm in 100%, buddy.
Wade,
That's what I'm talking. Hey,
you
hey,
might.
food is 100% my weakness. You done got me.
See,
Food gets me every time.
Wade,
Hey,
thank you, Wade.
yeah, that's right. Do they have any steak there? Or is it what kind of food we talking? Wade, you've never bought. You don't understand what kind of date I really am. I mean, you're like buying for four people's what you just signed up for. I'm just teasing.
Maybe 40. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. One thing we do when we travel is eat good. That's funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. The dinners are my favorite part.
Let me see if I get any more questions down. We're about running out of time, but we'll be back next Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, as well as every week. Um, keep those questions. I'm going to run through them and see if I missed
Yeah.
anybody.
Mike Parks has a really good point too. Watch the weight when you're fishing. You and I both have seen this, Brad. How many times that weight starts going with the fish when the fish
Yeah,
comes up soft and that weight starts leaving with the fish? That's when you know to really set her. That weight starts leaving. That fish got it in its mouth real well. But another thing is that springtime coming around, late February into March, you won't be guessing when they biting it then. They'll knock that rod out of your hands usually. They'll get really fired up.
well, great show tonight, guys. Look forward to next week
For
as
sure.
well. Cannot thank you for everybody. 2025, we've got some more stuff lined up. We want to do some different things. So if you see some podcasts that I might not have covered yet, I'm planning on doing them up at Grizzly Jig Show. Give me some show ideas. Would love to do them. Any kind of guests that you'd like to see on the show, I will try my best to get them on there. And I'm going to still work on Dustin.
Oh yeah, he's working on me. I'm telling you, that dinner really, I mean, it just moved the needle. I promise you, it moved the needle.
And a mug. I mean,
Yeah, the dinner is moving the needle around here.
the mug's not helping at all.
Oh yeah, no, the mug really have not, but I need the pecan cream. I don't need that thing
No.
blue.
Well, this was pecan cream. I'm gonna show you.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Yeah, now we're figuring it out, folks.
Wade, he
What's
said
good?
it's a deal. I'm invited also. So I said, Dustin, hey,
There
you
we
got
go.
fried catfish, country ham, and trimmings.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
Anthony Richardson. I see a question. I'm gonna
Yep,
keep on
real
answering.
quick. We got a little line question here. What about fishing line? What type do you like the best? Go ahead, Brad.
It depends on the technique.
Yeah.
Live scoping, open water fish. I like, and just because I'm probably a fairly heavier hook set than most, I like a 12-pound fluorocarbon, something that's going to hold up. I'm not a big braid person. Been using K9 for a couple of years now. Can't say enough about them. There's just good line, flat out.
Yep.
If I'm a long line troll, I use 6-pound test all the time. I'm going to say 95, 97% of the time I'm going to use 6-pound test is what I like. It just seems to work day in and day out for me.
Yep. I just spooled me up a couple right here. That's two fluorocarbon. That's 12-pound, and that's 10-pound from Walmart. The first fluorocarbon I see that looks smooth, but this one's pretty dang good. The
Yeah.
cigar, or however we say that, but that's done me really well. And then the Vanish, I usually use the like 4 to 6 pound for the casting and slip bobbing and just fishing with casting poles. It's doing pretty good too. It's just
I
really
like
clear.
Sulfex as well. I'm not going to, I do like a Sulfex.
It's good for yeah. Suffix is good, but for clear water, I try to go with the clearest line I can in the lowest, whether it matters much or not. But that was a good question.
Michael, he said, where can I get a good guide for crappie? Man, you're looking at two great guides. I mean,
oh man, what do you mean? Yeah, what lake do you want to go
great
to?
fishing guides.
Yeah, and just it's a pride thing now. So you just get a hold of me. Don't worry about Brad.
And Larry Jones, do you fish standing or sitting? Larry, like Dustin said earlier, I'm old. I like to sit when I'm fish. So
right.
I like to sit if I can.
I like to lean/sit. I like a leaning post, but if you sit too low, you need to have the right size chair. It's actually really important, especially with your back and the way you can really tear your back up being uncomfortable. But I'm not one to really talk. I sit terribly, have a terrible posture. But I like to just lean against a post, kind of have a leaning post. But when my fishermen are fishing with me, sitting is more comfortable. Sure seems like.
Yeah, I'm a sitter.
Tournament fishing,
sure
I
you
try
guys,
to.
hit the follow button. I think we're right about 51,800 followers right now on Facebook. Let me tell you what the YouTube guys are.
20 more thousand and we're there.
We're getting there. We're not giving up.
No, we can't. It ain't in your blood.
Not giving up. 1376 is the subscribers on YouTube. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hit the follow button, and next week, 7 o'clock, we'll see you guys.
If someone has to say bye real quick.
All right, we're going to see Bo. We ain't seen him yet this year.
Oh, Bo, tell him hi, boy. We'll just see everybody later.
He's happy.
Oh, yeah, happy and getting big.
We'll see him at Grizzly Jig Show.
Oh, yeah. You guys take it easy.
Till next time.
See you next Tuesday. Holla.